with their campaigns by device may lose some visibility because previously they could report on their mobile campaign separately and then on their desktop campaign separately. But now when you're combining those two campaigns and you're merging those two campaigns, it will all be in the same campaign. And if you don't have any further, more granular reporting at the device level, then you will probably lose some visibility. Google's providing the data by device at the cost level, and we're incorporating that. But on the conversion side, on the revenue side, there's a value track param called device in curly brackets that advertisers will be using to retag their URLs and take advantage of the device information in the URLs. And also that way we can, by looking at the URL and seeing how that device value track param resolves, we can say which device that conversion came from. So this value track param resolves to M for mobile, T for tablet, or C for computer. We also have support for if mobile and if not mobile value track params. These are params that you can use in order to have two separate landing pages, one for desktop and one for mobile. So basically, you can think of it very similar to the distribution value track params, which is if search, if content. The way it works is if you have a part of your URL, for example, you have a www for your desktop and tablet landing page, and you have an M dot for your mobile landing page, you can say if mobile, M dot, and then if not mobile, www dot, and then continue with your landing page, example.com/page. We have support for if mobile and if not mobile, so you can use it in the application today. URL builder support for this will be rolled out in our release tomorrow evening on San Francisco time. So once that's rolled out, you can easily provide your base URL as if mobile, if not mobile, and then build your URL, and it will trickle to all of your keywords. So as I mentioned, we are setting the stage for you to be able to report by device. We're downloading costs. We're also retagging or migrating URLs so that you can report by device. And that is being released, again, tomorrow in our tomorrow's release. So once that's out, you can look at your campaigns and see the breakdown of metrics by device. So you can look at mobile clicks versus desktop clicks rather than just clicks. So this should give all of our advertisers enough functionality to be able to start migrating all of campaigns without losing any visibility. And I'll definitely show you a flavor of what's going out tomorrow. And then optimization by device is coming in our next release about 4 weeks from now. What's included is that we look at the device performance of your campaign if you're using Marin bidding and recommend a value for campaign level mobile bid adjustments. So based on your goals, you say, hey, conversion rate for mobile was, for example, 20% less than desktop. So optimally, we are setting the mobile boost around negative 20%. You can choose to overview that or traffic it. And if you traffic it, we will push it just like we push your bids. Advertisers who are using Marin bidding are familiar with the terminology. So with that, I want to give you a quick demo of what's available. This is a test account, as Ryan pointed out, so don't pay attention to the details. But these are my Google campaigns, for example, in this account. As you can see, some of them are already enhanced, as you can see in this column here. So these first 4 are already enhanced, and we have mobile bid adjustments to different numbers. Some of them are still legacy, and we're still working on migrating their URLs. once you have all of your enhanced campaigns, setting the mobile boost is really easy. You filter on enhanced, and then if you want to set the same thing, say for all of them, you can just easily use multi-edit. Go to mobile bid adjustment and set your value. You can increase by up to 300% or decrease by 100%, which would be negative 100%. In order to first migrate your campaigns, you could use bulk. So once you choose your PCA or your account, you can see here that we have a new field called Enhanced. You can put values like true and for this column, and the campaign that you've specified here will be migrated to, so if I do this campaign number 1 will be migrated to Enhanced. And additionally, you can specify a mobile bid adjustment so that the mobile bid adjustment is also changed in the same shot. But if you don't specify anything, it would default to 0%, which is basically maintaining status quo. So going back here, the other way you can do all of this is in the single edit page, which is less efficient, but if you care about a specific campaign, this might be the way you want to do it. So you can migrate it from legacy to enhanced, and it's Google's requirement that you cannot go back from enhanced to legacy. So that's why this radio button is disabled. You can set the mobile bid adjustment, and you can also see Google's recommended value, which is around negative 20% for most of the campaigns, based on our experience. So taking a look at the ads, we also have the mobile preferred setting at the creative level. You can find that setting under settings. And of course, your ad will be device will be mobile preferred only if they're in a enhanced campaign. So this ad, I can go here and change it to mobile preferred, or I can go to the bulk page, pick my Google account, and under this field, specify mobile to change it to mobile preferred, or if I specify nothing, it doesn't touch it. Or you can even specify none or null to wipe out the device, the mobile preference, and set it again to no preference, basically. Same functionality is also available through multi-edit. So if you go to Creative Edit, you can see that we've added mobile preferred. And once you set this, it will set it for all creatives in the selection. So this is functionality that has been available to date. What we're rolling out tomorrow is reporting by device, which I have a screenshot here. And I can make it a little larger. So basically, we have added a new subtab, which is called Devices. And you can see a list of all your campaigns here. This is a screenshot from a live account, which is why the campaign names are blurred out. But then, as you can see here, for this date of the 28th, you can see desktop clicks, versus mobile clicks. You can see desktop cost versus mobile cost, and so on and so forth. Most of the metrics are available. For some metrics that are still not available, we are releasing them in our next release, but those should be more minor. And also, we are releasing much more functionality in our next release for this grid. But we are starting to roll this out starting from next week, gradually among clients based on their migration status and their need for this kind of reporting. And we hope that this gives you enough to start the migration and unblock you if this is what you're blocked on. I wanted to point out something. If you have mixed campaigns prior to enhanced campaigns, so your campaigns are targeting all devices, PC, tablet, mobile, you can migrate anytime, and you will not lose any visibility, because if you think about it, you are getting mixed reporting even today. So when migrating, you won't lose anything. You can set your mobile bit adjustment to 0% and just maintain status quo. And then once we have reporting available, you can start reporting on it, and if need be, fine-tune the mobile bit adjustment. So our recommendation would be to take those out of the way early on. Another case that you can easily migrate now would be if you have desktop-only campaigns that don't have any mobile counterparts. If you have part of your business that is only targeted to desktop, you can easily migrate those campaigns and setting the mobile bit adjustment to -100%. And in that way, you are essentially blocking mobile traffic. So again, that should give you the same status that you have today. And you should be able to migrate those campaigns and get those out of the way. And we strongly recommend that you start off with those first and get them out of the way. All right, so going back to the slides, we wanted to go over the process for migrating campaigns and also speak about, again, the value track params and the new URL formats that we've made available. So when you want to migrate your campaigns, as I mentioned, if you don't fall in the two camps that I just talked about, which is mixed targeting and or desktop only with no mobile counterpart, you can find sibling campaigns, which are desktop and mobile counterparts. So these campaigns usually have the same keywords or a large overlap of keywords, but one is targeting desktop, one is targeting mobile. And then, so you may ask now, what about tablet? In most cases, tablet is grouped with PC. A lot of our advertisers already have campaigns that are targeting only PC and tablet, and then they have another campaign that targets mobile. However, for your business, it may be that you're targeting tablet with mobile, in which case that's the way you should categorize tablet. So it's a little bit of a case-by-case, but just so you know, in the enhanced campaigns world, there is no distinction between tablet and desktop. You can't specify a tablet landing page. You can't adjust it for tablet, and essentially tablet and desktop will be treated exactly the same. So once you identify those sibling campaigns, you can merge those by pausing or deleting one, which is the secondary, and maintaining the primary one, but migrating it to enhanced campaigns, which, as I mentioned, you can use Marin Vault, or you can go to Appers Editor if that's easier for you to use. Once you did that, and make sure that all the settings are what you want them to be, including the mobile adjustment and your ad device preferences, then actually this second step could happen prior to the first step. They're independent of each other. For some clients, it's happening earlier. For some, it's happening later. So another thing that has to be done is migrating your URLs to incorporate the device value track param, which, as I mentioned, gives us a way to understand which device each conversion came from. So then you have to communicate with us, and we have a team of our professional services dedicated to helping clients migrate their URLs to incorporate device. So then you will, once you kick off this communication with your account manager, then our team will be able to retag your URLs. And just so you know, we have introduced two methods that you can add device. One is, and these are very simplified landing pages, a very simplified definition URLs. So one example is you can append device parameter in your mQuid. So for example, if your URL was example.com/page and then mQuid equals abc123, you can add _d and then curly brackets device. There are two choices for this delimiter. We call _d a delimiter because it lets us, our system knows that, okay, after this _d, the mQuid actually finishes, and I'm looking for the device information. So this first destination URL would resolve to something like abc123_dm, for example, if it results on a mobile device. And then the other choice that you have for _d is type D. We've added that to account for URLs that have underscore in other places to reduce the confusion. Again, our team will help you do this, so this was just for information. This revenue attribution using this method will be rolled out tomorrow. So if you already have your URLs tagged this way and your URL builder settings updated this way, you can start tracking revenue by device after our tomorrow's release at some point during next week when this gets rolled out for you. And the second method would be a little different, where we add a device as a new key value pair. So you would have your mQuid equals abc123 and then ampersand pd equals curly brackets device. So this way, if you want to send this information to us, you would need to add another column to the revenue upload file if you're using revenue upload. If you're on Tracker, you don't need to do anything. And then we have guides that go over different revenue integrations. I don't want to go into detail, but this is a little bit of a different method. And while you can retag your URLs using this method today, revenue attribution will be rolled out in our next release 4 weeks from tomorrow. So you can retag your URLs, but you will not be able to see revenue by device until then. So once you've done all the steps, you can now think of setting your mobile boost. And we have a device performance report that you can request from your client services representative during a recurring call, or you can reach out to your account manager and ask for it. And this report is not intended to be a recommendation, but it's just information for you to be able to set your mobile boost more informatively while we're working on adding automatic recommendations for those advertisers who are using Marin bidding. And what it does is that it looks at your overlapping keywords. So it somehow identifies sibling campaigns and says if you have a red shoe, for example, and in broad match type, it appears once in a desktop targeted campaign and once in a mobile targeted campaign. Then we look at a 28-day history of this keyword and compare 5 different KPIs, such as CTR, search bid, conversion rate, revenue per click, and CPC, and report the average for your total client accounts. So this is an average number, and then there is another report by keyword. The one thing to notice is that keywords can have a lot of variation. So if you have head terms, make sure to look at those separately and add any adjustments that needs to be added. But this is basically to give you a ballpark idea of where your bids are and where your performance is. So for example, based on what your goal is, if you want to maintain status quo, you can use the search bid ratio to set your mobile bid adjustment. If you're confident that you can go straight to optimization. You can look at metrics like conversion rates or revenue per click. But you have to note that it may set bids very different than where they are today, because they may not be exactly optimized today based on those metrics by device. So again, as I mentioned, setting your mobile boost, once you assess what your mobile boost needs to be, you can do it in bulk, in Marin, or it can be AdWords Editor, or using multi-edit. So what's the impact on bidding? Once you migrate your campaigns to Enhance, bids are still calculated at the keyword level. So if you think about it, each keyword still only has one bid, and the mobile bid adjustment is only available at the campaign level and now rolling out to the group level. So each keyword still only has one bid. We will take into account the desktop versus mobile performance when we're calculating the mobile boost. But ultimately, the bids for a keyword would be based on aggregate of all devices. And once we set that once we set the bid at the keyword level, then we look at the desktop-specific performance at the campaign level and identify your mobile adjustments at the campaign level or at the folder level. And then, as I mentioned, you can request the device performance reports to provide ideas of your initial mobile bid adjustments. So I also wanted to point out some resources that we have worked on for you guys. We have a constantly updated and interactive Enhanced Campaigns Knowledge Center on our Zendesk Help Center. You can find different sections in there. You can find product offerings and updated roadmaps and what's coming down the pipe. You can find campaign and URL migration tips. We have FAQs for migrating, for bidding, we have best practices, and some industry trends based on other migrations that have been done, and also, obviously, resources from Google. Google has a great migration guide as well, which is a very good resource. Here's the link to that resource center. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at it if you have not done so already. And it also talks about our certified URL migration. So it goes into the process of how you can request it and what we will do to our URLs. And if you choose to do it yourself, then we will also have detailed guides to guide you through each of the methods that I talked about. We also have our device performance report. We talk about exactly the methodology of the report and how you can request it, which I went into detail. So about our certified URL migration process, we engage with every Marin customer to make sure that your URLs are seamlessly transitioned to Enhanced Campaigns. We know that this is a big change. Touching URLs is never fun, but we're trying to make it safe and smooth by engaging with every client with hands-on URL migration and QAing the URLs to make sure they're updated, but eventually the client gives the final sign-off, and you are the one who QA your URLs and say, yes, this looks good, and I'm ready to migrate my URLs. And just so you know, we have a global coordination between our account management team and Google's to ensure smooth migration. We partner with Google definitely to make sure that both on the URL side and on the campaign side, the migrations are smooth. While we have tools for you to migrate your campaigns, Google also has great tools to identify, for example, sibling campaigns or merger campaigns, and we definitely want to partner with them to help drive that part of it. We're available for hand-holding or any questions, but Google AS has also done a great job of picking up that part of the migration to help our clients. So here's a very high-level summary of essentially what I went over. I'll give you a moment to take a look at it, and I can go over it real quick. So basically, as I mentioned, we already have all the campaign level settings and all the ad level settings. We have new URL formats. You can retag your URLs. We also have the diagnostic performance report for informing you about your mobile bid adjustments. In our tomorrow's release, May 31st, we are rolling out cost and revenue reporting by device at the campaign level, and URL builder support for if mobile, if not mobile, which would allow you to easily retag your URL by if mobile, if not mobile. In our next release, we have campaign mobile boost recommendations, so automatic recommendations from our bidding algorithm, and conversion types by device. In our tomorrow's release, we have total conversions, and then in the next one, we would have conversion types. And then we are working on group level mobile boost to add it as a setting for you to be able to bulk edit it. And also we're working on reporting, so stay tuned for that. And another deadline that Google just announced is deadline to migrate your ad extensions. We still don't have support for upgraded ad extensions, but that would definitely come in Q3 in advance of the deadline. So stay tuned for that one as well. And then your migration timeline, you should have been able to migrate your mixed campaigns and desktop-only campaigns since pretty much March. And now you can also retag your URL since our last release. You will be able to migrate your sibling campaigns because we will have reporting by device after our release tomorrow. And you can use the device performance report anytime to set your initial mobile bid adjustment. In June 28th, our next release, you can optimize your campaigns based on our mobile boost recommendations. And in Q3, you can focus on ad extensions and reorganizing any campaigns based on groups, depending on group-specific performance. So if you have a campaign that has one group with a much higher mobile conversion rate, for example, than other groups, you can isolate that group to another campaign or set the mobile boost to a different number within that campaign. So that's all we had. Ryan, if you want to add something, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can open it up to questions.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon, for taking us through that. We have a few questions that we can lead off with, I think. First one being, do we have a timeline in place for as to when any site link enhancements, for example, scheduling, will be available in Marin?
Yes. So scheduled site links are not fully available through the API yet, but for other upgrades, so just upgraded site links and group level site links, which is available, I believe, in beta in the API. We are planning, we're looking at, I believe, around August. So we will definitely put out a more detailed roadmap for that, but we're looking around August to release that. We're focusing more on the reporting side of things at this point. So once we rolled out that at the campaign level and then also group level functionality, we will shift our focus to ad extensions and make sure we support those as well.
Great, thanks, Sharon. There's a follow-up question on that one as well, and that's, will the migration into Google Enhanced Campaigns affect existing site links?
So when you migrate your campaigns, either in Marin or in AdWords, that only migrates the campaign, and it does not upgrade. That's the term that Google uses. It does not upgrade ad extensions. If you're doing this in AdWords, there's a little wizard that walks you through the migration. So when you're done with your campaign migration, it asks you if you want to also upgrade your ad extension. So the short answer is no, it will not impact your ad extensions unless you choose to upgrade your ad extensions. When you migrate your campaigns from Marin, it does not upgrade your ad extensions either. So that would be a second choice. Today, as I mentioned, we do not support upgraded site links or ad extensions. So we recommend that you hold off on upgrading them. Or if you do want to upgrade them and take advantage of the features that are available, you will not be able to sync them down to Marin for a while we work on rolling out that functionality.
Great, thanks. Next question we have is, would you recommend opting your campaigns into enhanced campaigns before or after you've had the URLs rebuilt to include the device value track parameter?
Right. So this depends a little bit on your specific situation. As I mentioned, if you have mixed campaigns today, which means essentially you don't care about detailed device reporting, or if you have desktop-only campaigns with no mobile counterparts, where you can set your mobile bit adjustment to -100% and not worry about the mobile side of things, then you can migrate before retagging your URL. Now, if you have already separated your campaigns by desktop versus mobile, and you care about you definitely want to use the conversion reporting by device for your own reporting, analytics, and ad operations, then you would need conversion reporting by device, which the only time you can have that is once you have retagged your URL. So if you don't have any device information in your URL, we will not receive any information around which device that conversion came from. So it's a decision on your side to see how important it is for you to have device-level reporting. Can you live without it for a while or not? And then that's the criteria basically that you can decide whether you should migrate first or update your URL first.
Thank you, Sharon. Another question we have is, when the automated bid adjustment recommendations feature is available, how often will that be updated? Is that a daily update? And if so, what is the date range used in calculating that recommended adjustment?
That's a great question. I need to consult with our bidding product manager to get you the exact answer. But it would be my understanding so far is that it's a daily recommendation, but it would definitely take into account a period of historical data in that calculation, which I am not exactly sure. Is it 1 week? Is it 2 weeks? So that I can get back to you.
Yeah, I imagine that would depend on the click threshold in the bidding setup. So it may vary from account to account, but yeah, we'll confirm that offline in the follow-up. Okay, that covers all the questions that we've received so far. Thank you very much for attending, and if there's anything that we haven't covered on today's call, please do chat it through in your questions console, and we'll be sure to follow up on that query in the follow-up that will be sent out along with the link to where you can access this recording. Right, so I'd just like to thank you all for attending. I'd like to thank Shirin for getting up at the crack of dawn today to take us through Google Enhanced Campaigns. So thank you very much, and take care.
Thank you.